Okay, we will restart our second half. Now, we are going to do a small meditation on hindrances, but these meditations have to be done at different times while you are attending to other work. But let us simulate certain hindrances in our mind and try to practice for learning here, for learning how to do it. Okay, to do the meditation, if you like, you can close your eyes, so half close your eyes. Let's do it now. And slowly become aware that you are sitting now at the present moment. Here I am. Pay attention to the body first. This is the body posture. Capture that in the mind, visualize, feel the posture of the body. Present moment awareness. Okay, then slowly focus the attention to your heart. Focus the attention to the heart. And explore the mind. Explore the mind. Capture which hindrance is there at this moment. Sensual desires? Yes or no, you can answer to yourself. Aversion? Yes or no. Is it present or not? Then identify whether the mind is dull, sleepy, which is the sloth and torpor. Yes or no. Then ask the question, is the mind restless or some worries are there? Worry or restlessness, is it there or not? Then check whether there is lack of conviction. Skeptical doubt, is it there? Is it present or not? One of these five is definitely present. So if you can identify, that's really good. Well, otherwise, we can simulate. Okay, for the learning purpose, let us simulate it now. Okay, now let the mind think of a person you love or a place you love or music you love. Individually, you can choose what you are thinking. So something very attractive you can think. Try to remember, try to recollect it vividly by applying the mind again and again on that mental image. Allow it to take over the thought process. And once it is present, now suddenly become aware. Okay, this is sensory desire present. That quality, that mental quality is present in the mind at this moment, not the presence, not the presence of the sensory desire. Okay, identify is as internal to your mind. Then become aware that similar sensory desires are present in many other minds of living beings at this same moment. Think of all the minds in all directions, all kind of living beings, and in many of those minds, the same sensory desire or similar sensory desire is present. Generate that awareness. Now, both internal and external. This particular mind, your own one, and all other minds, think of all of them. So whether it's internal or external, that hindrance is present in many minds at this moment. Let the mind realize that this kind of hindrance is very popular, very widespread, and it's a natural phenomena in the mind of a living being. Then become aware it has arisen in the mind. Now, arisen in my mind right now due to causes. What are the causes? That attractive mental image was a cause. Unwise attention I paid is a cause. And resulting thoughts, volitions, they are also causes. Due to them, sensual desire is present in the mind right now. And become aware when these causes vanish, the sensual desire is not going to remain. So become aware of arising and passing away of sensual desire. And let the mind realize, okay, this sensual desire is temporary. Impermanence is the nature. This is temporary. Impermanence is the nature. Okay, now let's think of, we will simulate another hindrance. Let's think of a situation where somebody scolded you, that irritated your mind. Go back to that scenario, that memory in your mind, recall it. Or a situation where you became angry, you can recall now. Keep recalling until it's very vivid, until the mind gets really involved in that memory. So this is an annoying mental image now. So feel that the mind slowly becomes hostile and aversion is present. Aversion is present when you think of that situation, that scenario. Become aware, aversion is present in my mind right now, right here. Aversion is present in the thought process now. Aversion is present in the thought process now. And also become aware, a similar aversion is present in the thought process of many other living beings out there. So this aversion is a common thing, whether it's internal or external. Aversion is present in this mind as well as in many other minds right at this moment. Think of all living beings. Some minds are annoyed at the moment, hostile at this moment. Now think of arising and passing away of aversion. How did this arise? How is it going to fade away? How did this aversion arise? Think of the causes and think of passing away of the aversion when the causes are missing. Realize same thing happens in other living beings' minds also. Aversion arise and fade away. Let the mind realize aversion is not permanent, temporary. It's impermanent thing, an impermanent mental quality. So this is aversion. Okay, so we did meditate for 2 hindrances. Well, since the time is limited, we will stop the meditation here. Allow yourself to reset, to come out of this meditation. Okay. Well, we did it only for 2, but I think you learned the steps of how to do it, and the same way you can do it for other 3 as well. So I just wanted to illustrate how it should be done. At home, you can simulate these other hindrances also and do it. But what I would suggest is, rather than simulating, wait until that particular like sleepiness to come, and then there and then you can do this meditation. So mixing it with the normal day-to-day life is what is recommended for this kind of meditations. If you want to get away from the day-to-day life and do it, of course, you can stimulate it by thinking of a particular scenario that will make it arise, and then do the way we did today. So choose in the way you want first. We will discuss another idea now, which is also so important for your studies. Concentration. Since we have just finished the discussion on hindrances, this will be the ideal time to discuss about the concentration, which is the absence of the hindrances. that leads the mind to concentration. So shall we define concentration now? Okay. This is the way we define. It is defined as unification of the mind on the meditation thought. When you are cramming a subject, it is not a meditation thought. It could be a worldly thought. But again, the mind will have to unify on that particular thought. But in this scenario, since we are talking about the meditation, concentration is defined as unification of the mind on the selected meditation thought. Unification means only that thought should be there. Only that thought should be there in the mind. Well, sometimes this is called single pointedness. Single pointedness of the mind. Single pointedness. Right? Another way you can think of unification. So the mind is sharply pointed on the selected single meditation thought. Then we say the mind has concentrated on that thought. Right? Now, before we learn how to do that, let's consider an analogy first. Think of what you should do when you come across an untidy or disorganized place or a situation. Let me show you one or two pictures. Office desk like this. Right now, I hope your desk is not like this. Right? If it is like this, it might become, when you are busy, right? For a short time, it might become like this. Obviously, you should clean it and organize. So what we should do is to organize it like this. Same way, let's consider your home. If it is disorganized like this, first what we should do is to organize it like this. Clean it and organize it like this. I think you can guess what I'm trying to say. If your garden is untidy, then you should clean it and organize it. So these situations, consider it as an analogy to the state of the mind. Okay. For example, the garden, the work desk, or the living room. If they are in these states, we know that we should clean them and we should organize them. The moment you see them like this, you get the feeling, okay, I should clean, I should organize. What about the mind? The mental state can also become very untidy, disorganized like this from time to time. The moment you see that, you should get the feeling that the mind I should clean, I should make it tidy and organized. In the same way you feel that this must be rearranged, in the same way you must feel that the mind should be rearranged and clean from time to time. From what? From the hindrances. Because hindrances are the ones which make them untidy and disorganized. So this is the mind coming to this kind of situation is due to the 5 hindrances that prevent the right concentration. So sometimes during the day, you may feel that your mind and even the brain is like burning. Too much work maybe. And for an average person, a daily routine could be sometimes very tiring and burning sensation will be there. And that may remain even at night. It's like a burning house, like a burning house. And that burning may not be over even at night. You might even feel that certain nights still, although the flames are not there, smoke is there in the mind. It's like the sleep is also uh, not cleaning the mind fully. Okay. So during the day, such a mind will be like this, burning with a lot of work. During night, it will be fuming like this. So the day here, night here, and the cycle could be from day to night, night to day, like that. For some people, it is a cycle like this. That will be some people's daily routine. These are only analogies, remember, just to illustrate the key points to you. Now, this way you can't survive, right? After some time, you will feel very unhappy. So what should I do? What is the solution for this kind of uh, hijacking the mind by hindrances? When the mind is hijacked by hindrances, the scenario is like mind is like a burning house during the day and like a fuming house during night. The next day burning again. Next night fuming. So the night or the sleep is not enough to reset it. Okay. So when scenarios like this are observed within the mind, we know it's due to hindrances. They are the culprits. There must be a way. There must be a way you can take over and clean this up, organize this. Okay. The cleaning process is like driving. I'm just taking an analogy again to explain the cleaning process easily to you. Suppose you are driving. Suppose you are driving, and what are the things you need to do? There will be control necessary by the steering wheel because the car might be moving sideways like this. So that must be corrected. And the car may be moving to the other side, that also may be corrected from time to time. And if the driving is happening too slowly, maybe you need to speed up. If the driving is happening too fast, overspeeding, again you need a correction on the speed. And also you should know your destination, where to drive, which way to turn, right? Knowing the destinations. So what I'm trying to say is that in order to drive, you must be applying continuous corrections, isn't it? Correction to the left, correction to the right, correction of the speed, and also correction of the destination, the knowledge of the destination and the way to go towards it. How is this analogous to our situation of the mind? We want to drive the mind towards what? We want to drive the mind towards concentration or samadhi. And it's similar to this. We will have to do corrections because there are 5 forces on the mind to hijack it, to take control and take you off the course. What are the 5? So similar to these 5 corrections you need to do within the mind, when you are driving the mind towards concentration states or samadhi states, sensory desires may appear to derail you or take you off course to the left side. Opposite aversion may appear to make the car hit on the opposite bank. Or sometimes sleepiness will appear. As a driver, you might feel sleepy and will be too slow. Sloth and torpor take place. And opposite of that is restlessness and worry, overspeeding. That will take over. These are the things to be avoided. Right? The next one is the doubt about where to turn. What is the way to reach the destination? So when you are driving, your mind, your thought process towards single pointedness or unification on a meditation thought, these five will interfere. That's why they are called hindrances. They disturb you and try to take you off the course or derail you. There must be a way to correct, isn't it? The same way as we drive a car, which has different corrections to be applied, same way to the mind, there are different corrections to be applied. Opposing these hindrances, which are trying to take you off the course. Okay, so for the mind, when these pulling forces appear, it's like the mind cannot be driven to concentration. The mind is getting entangled into a net like this. You can't go through. If you can control each one of them by using suitable thought processes, then only you can swim through to the other side. Other side is the inner happiness side or the samadhi side. So samadhi means absence of the five forces of the hindrances. So we need to clean the mind from the hindrances. We need to clean the mind from the hindrances. If I give you an analogy for cleaning, getting rid of sensual desires at a particular moment of time, getting rid of sensual lust from your mind is like being relieved from a debt that you had by paying the debt. So you will get a lot of relief after that. Then getting rid of aversion from the mind is like recovering from an illness. Again, you feel well and you feel very much relieved. These are only analogies. Getting rid of sloth and torpor is like being released from prison. In the prison, you are confined. Your movements are very limited. And the moment you are released from that kind of a confinement, you feel free. Getting rid of sloth and torpor from the mind is like that kind of freedom, release. Getting rid of restlessness and worry from the mind is like being liberated from being a slave to someone. Suppose you are put as a slave to work, and if you are liberated, that freedom, you can think. You will experience that kind of freedom when restlessness and worry is removed from your mind. Getting rid of skeptical doubt is similar to being able to cross a dangerous desert safely. Suppose you are walking in a desert, and if you can come out of the desert, you know how much relief it is. Getting rid of doubt is that kind of a release. Being involved with doubt is like being walking in a desert, so dangerous and thirsty and very unhappy, that kind of scenario. Okay, remember these as analogies. just for remembering the theory. But then, how do we get rid of? That question remains, isn't it? How do we get rid of? Each of these hindrances should be removed by using opposing forces. For example, sensory lust is trying to pull our mind in a particular direction. We must put an opposing force to that to correct it. Same way in the driving. Suppose the car is being dragged to the left bank of the road, you need your steering wheel to correct and apply a force to the tires to bring it to the road again. Same way, now this is done by a meditation. A particular meditation is there to correct if sensory desires are taking over. There is another meditation as a correction if aversion is taking over. Another one for sloth and torpor, another one for restless and worry, another one for the doubt. So 5 different kind of meditations are available for you to practice so that gradually you can do these corrections and get the mind driven towards concentration. That is what we are going to discuss next time. So we will be stopping our lecture here, giving time for the quiz. Quiz will be opening at 9:40 in the model. So what I would suggest is you get ready now and log on to Moodle and be ready at 9:40. It will be open. There will be 10 questions and they will be 10 minutes will be there, mostly multiple choice, and they are sequential. So don't go forward without answering any question, right? And of course, you can't come back as well. It's like last time. So it's do it well. Okay. Good luck. We will stop there.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.